It's not that I care about starting companies. If there's a very compelling product or service, then that's the thing that is important, not the company. A company is just an assemblage of people to create a compelling product or service. And if a company does not provide great products and services, it should not exist. I didn't put all this effort into building SpaceX and Tesla because I thought they were easy ways to make money. I mean, anyone who starts a car company thinking it's an easy way to make money is a fool. I graduated with about $100,000 in student debt. I was going to do grad studies at Stanford and decided to put that on hold to try starting an internet company. You need to have things that when you wake up in the morning, you're excited about the future. Why live if it's all about solving problems or being miserable? Why live? So they got to be things that are inspiring, that get you in the heart. I will die probably long before Mars is a self-sustaining civilization. It's just, I think, something we should do in order to have a much longer probable lifespan of civilization.
You hit a point in your life where you made plenty of money and you could do whatever. What drives you to just keep?
Yeah, it could be slipping Mai Tais on a tropical island.
A robot servant or something.
Windsurfing with naked models.
Yeah.
Some people do that.
So what drives you to, obviously you work and work.
Wait a second, why am I not, why? I just realized,
question everything.
I've been wrong all this time. Why am I working 90 hours a week? This is crazy.
Because I'm always fascinated by the idea of I've made it. People always want to be able to say, I've made it.
I've arrived.
Yeah. And how do you hit those little islands in your life, and you actually have to break yourself of that mindset. And what are ways that you break yourself of that mindset and keep on going?
I didn't put all this effort into building SpaceX and Tesla because I thought they were easy ways to make money. Anyone who starts a car company thinking it's an easy way to make money is a fool. There are only two car companies that have not gone bankrupt in the history of the United States, and that's Ford and Tesla. And Tesla came within inches of going bankrupt multiple times, as did SpaceX. So, and who starts a rocket company think it's going to be successful? I started, both those companies I thought had less than a 10% chance of success. And I thought it was overwhelmingly likely that I would lose the money that I made from PayPal. I came to North America when I was 17, just by myself, and I had a few $1,000s in traveler's checks, back when traveler's checks were a thing, in Canadian dollars. I landed in Montreal. I have some family in Canada, and my mom's uncle lived in Montreal, but we didn't even know his phone number, so I landed in Montreal, and my mom says, I just got a letter back from my uncle, and he's in Minnesota or something. So I'm like, oh, okay, I don't know what to do now. So I just stayed in a youth hostel and bought a bus ticket across Canada. And I worked in various odd jobs and stuff. I worked on my mom's cousin's farm, wheat farm in Saskatchewan for 6 weeks. That's where I had my 18th birthday, actually. Worked in a lumber mill, chainsawed logs, and did various odd jobs. And then went to college in Canada for a couple of years. I paid my own way through college, by the way. But in Canada, it's easier because the college is more subsidized, and I was a Canadian citizen through my mom. So, and I got some scholarships and loans and stuff, and then I applied to the University of Pennsylvania, and didn't think I'd be able to go because tuition is really high. But they gave me a scholarship and loans and stuff, so I was able to go there. I graduated with about $100,000 in student debt, and I was going to do grad studies at Stanford, and decided to put that on hold to try starting an internet company. I tried to get a job at Netscape, but they didn't. I'd send my resume and didn't get a response. So I was like, okay, I guess I can't get a job there are only a few internet companies and can get a job at any of them. So I was like, I guess I want to do something with the internet. I got to start my own company. But I ended up writing the first maps and directions on the internet. I wrote it personally. Maps, directions, yellow pages, white pages, on a puny computer, with hardly any. So you had to be the code had to be super tight. I even have some patents on maps and directions and yellow pages and white pages and stuff from ages ago. they're lapsed now, but that company ended up getting bought by Compaq for about $300 million. And I own 7% of the company, so I got like $20 million from that. Put most of it into X.com, which merged with Confinity to create PayPal. And then I got about $180 million from that. And I put all of that into SpaceX, Tesla, and SolarCity. I just basically kept all the chips on the table and just like, let's play another round. And most people take the chips off the table, or at least some of their chips. And then SpaceX and Tesla ended up being valuable, and that's where I am. But the reason for SpaceX and Tesla is, Tesla, if you say like, how would you assess the historical good of Tesla? I'd say it's the degree to which Tesla accelerated sustainable energy. And I've been interested in electric cars for a long time, since maybe high school or certainly early college. My original interest in electric vehicles was not so much due to environmental concerns, but rather from the concern that we'd run out of oil eventually, and or would become extremely scarce and expensive, and then civilization would collapse because we couldn't drive cars or run power plants and stuff. So,
but to Ethan's point, he's asking like, why not? Like, is that your answer for why you keep going? Is because these things make a difference. They make a difference ultimately for the flourishing of humanity, for the longevity of humanity. Is that why you're not on a beach somewhere sipping Mai Tais or White Claws?
This is not about like trying to enrich myself. I do not live a life of conspicuous consumption. I work, very long hours, but I think what Tesla's doing is important to the future, and that's why I keep doing it. And I think it's something that I think is Tesla increases the probability that the future will be good for humanity, and then for SpaceX, I think it's important that we take the actions like that we become a spacefaring civilization and a multi-planet species. This is an exciting, inspiring future. You need to have things that when you wake up in the morning, you're excited about the future. Why live if it's all about solving problems or being miserable? Why live? So they got to be things that are inspiring, that get you in the heart. And I think space is one of those things. So, look at the Apollo program and, sending people to the moon in '69. And wasn't that a great thing for all of humanity? Great thing. And if you ask people, like, what are some of the greatest things that humanity's ever done, that would be one of them. And I think, around the world, people would agree with that.
If you believe it really happened.
Yes, I do get that question. This is, yeah. We went to the moon not just once, but several times. And I think the Russians would have called us out on that one if it wasn't true, to say the least. among this is like we went to the moon. Okay.
The Russians didn't like us at the time.
Yeah, the Russians. Soviet Union was not a huge fan of America. They wouldn't have congratulated. Like, they were looking at us through telescopes and like, is this real or what? They would have called
bubblegum
if it wasn't. That's for sure. It was a huge, victory, ideological victory for the United States and Western civilization. So, but anyway, the point is, like, we want to have an exciting, inspiring future, and one where we are a spacefaring civilization and a multi-planet species. I think it is a much more exciting and inspiring future than one where we are forever confined to Earth and never go back to the moon. And the moon was our high water mark, and that's all we ever did. That's depressing. And there's also, from a long-term basis, if we're a multi-planet species, it's like life insurance for life itself, not just for humans, but for all the creatures on Earth, because we bring them with us, and they can't build spaceships, so we're in effect the steward of life, and we can make Mars like another planet with life on it. It is. It's probably a dangerous analogy to use, but it's a bit like Noah's Ark, but we'd bring more than two of every creature, because it's a little incestuous, frankly. I mean, just do how does this work?
The second generation.
And did he hate the dinosaurs? Like, what's a... why is it like F you to the dinosaurs?
Gotta get answers.
What? It's like pro-incest, bad on dinosaurs. I don't get it anyway. And it would have to be a very big vote. So, but there's, it's a metaphor, perhaps, I don't know. So anyway, there's some risk, especially over a long period of time, that something calamitous would happen to Earth, and if we're just on one planet, that would be the end of life itself. And certainly the sun is slowly expanding, so the Earth's roughly 4.5 billion years old. Some people might disagree with that, but it appears to be that way. In roughly 500 million years, the sun will expand to make Earth probably uninhabitable. In 1 billion years, definitely uninhabitable. So basically, if intelligent life had taken 10% longer to evolve on Earth, then we would never have evolved at all, because it would be destroyed, because the oceans would boil and we wouldn't be able to exist. So,
I mean, no matter what, the universe will end in heat death, though, right? Eventually. So it's all futile to some extent, if you go far enough.
Yeah, I mean, I think if heat death is the outcome of the universe, it really is all about the journey. Yes, I mean, technically, being a multi-planet species would increase the probable lifespan of civilization and life as we know it. So, I mean, humans don't live forever. But just because we don't live forever does not mean that civilization cannot live much longer than we do. Civilization lives much longer than any individual human. So this is not about like escaping to Mars. This is simply, I mean, I will die probably long before Mars is a self-sustaining civilization. It's just, I think, something we should do in order to have a much longer probable lifespan of civilization.